Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Troy Jackson. I'm one of the physicians here at Authentic Health, and today we are going to continue on another video about peptides. So recently the FDA just approved 6 peptides to be, or really cleared the way for 6 peptides to be made by compounding pharmacies. And so the interest is there, and now people are asking a lot about them, and so it's good timing that we're making these videos because we want you to know more about these. There's pros, there's cons, there's clinical evidence, there's non-clinical evidence, there's no evidence. And so it's trying to understand what do we think about peptides, how should we think about them, how do we separate hype, which happens in the social media world, from fact or from clinical experience, which happens in my world, in our world here in our clinic. And so hopefully this is a valuable resource to you when you're trying to think about peptides. Should you take them? Should you not? Where should you get them? All those questions come up. And then what the evidence says and doesn't say and how we think about it. So we're going to do that for every single peptide on that list. We've already done one on BPC-157. That was a few weeks ago. So go back and listen to that if you'd like, because it is a partner to this one today, Thymosin Beta-500 or TB-500. And it's a partner because it also is involved in injury and repair. It works a little differently, and so it's synergistic with BPC. And so we do use it in combination, but you don't have to. And some people will alternate between the two. And so I just want to talk about TB-500, what it is, what it does, and how we use it in our office. And maybe it's something that you should consider for your own health and recovery journey. So technically, TB-500 is a fragment, a piece of another thymosin molecule that's made naturally in the body called TB-4. And TB-4 is upregulated in cells in response to an injury. And so when some tissue gets damaged, it's going to release a lot of different chemical messengers, cytokines and others, that are telling the rest of the body that something has happened, there's damage and injury here, and to send in healing factors, immune cells, blood cells to this area to repair. And TB-4 is one of those naturally occurring peptides that are made. And so cells that are involved in healing, platelets, macrophages, those are white blood cells, endothelial cells, which are the lining of blood vessels, they tend to have a higher abundance of this TB-4 peptide production. And so clearly, this is going to be involved in healing. And so inflammation, very important. We need inflammation to repair. We need inflammation as a signal to our body. If we didn't have it, then our bodies would be unable to repair it, unable to know that there was a problem in the first place. If we get sick and a bacteria or virus enters our body, we need inflammation to fight it. So inflammation is a good thing, and repair involves this orchestral movement of different parts and pieces in the body. So it's blood flow, it's debris removal, it's immune cell activation, it's the recruitment of repair cells to that area of injury, and then of course at the very end, it's the resolution of inflammation. And so TB-4, the parent molecule of TB-500, has been found to interact in a few areas of that inflammatory process. So its most well-studied function is the ability to bind to something called actin, which regulates the movement of particles throughout the cell and in the body as well. And so it helps regulate the migratory process of immune cells and repair cells and vascular cells to these injured areas. It influences angiogenesis, which is the build and repair of blood vessels. And that's very similar to BPC-157, that it promotes a vascular repair process and healthy blood flow to these areas to provide nutrients and for waste and debris removal from that area of injury as well. In cell studies, TB-4 seems to inhibit NF-kappa B, which is the master switch for inflammation. And that can help shift cells from damaged tissue and chronic inflammation towards repair and resolution. Now remember that NF-kappa B and this whole thing I just mentioned, because the next peptide we're going to talk about, KPV, we'll get to that later, that is the main peptide for that specific molecule. And so a lot of peptides out there are in this category of repair and recovery and chronic inflammation. And then lastly, in animal studies, that TB-500 seems to involve in collagen regulation, and so it can improve scar formation over time, reducing fibrosis, which we'll get to later. So all good things, right? TB-500 is an injectable peptide, and so its influence is on the systemic repair system. So we're not when we inject the peptide, it doesn't know to go to your shoulder or to your knee per se, but the idea is that TB-500, that increase in that signal in the body, helps the body better respond to these cellular repair signals that are being made, and especially those that are in active tissue injury and remodeling. So, as you can imagine, with age, your ability to respond and repair efficiently declines. We see this. If you have kids, or when you remember when you were younger, something could happen to you and you'd recover really quickly, right? Kids can wake up with a 101-degree fever, and by the end of the day, they're happy and playing and wanting to do more and can't go to sleep, right? So, but for us, if we have a 101-degree fever, we feel exhausted and terrible for the rest of the day. And it's just because our inflammatory systems are harder to resolve. There's a lot of other competing factors. And so because of that, our body doesn't respond as quickly or as efficiently as we may want when it comes to these times in our life where there's injury. And so what this is doing is trying to help support that system, increase those signals, and allow for the body to kind of get over the hump and back over to repair and recovery. So the question comes up is, what do we know about TB-500 in humans? And what's interesting is that the TB-4 part, the parent molecule of TB-500, does have some human data when it comes to certain ocular surface disorders, so like the surface of the eye itself, and then also post-heart attack and the recovery that our heart has to undergo. And that comes back to this idea of fibrosis, so scar formation. After a heart attack, there's this risk of having a scar on the heart that can permanently damage its ability to function well. And so TB-4 was studied in that certain setting to help reduce cardiac fibrosis. It was never, I don't think, ever FDA approved for that specific condition, but it did show improvement there. And so it's a sort of a proof of concept idea that, all right, maybe it didn't work at a pharmaceutical level for the specific concern, but it did help. And so for less concerning problems, a cut on your skin after a surgery, or you want to try to help the body reduce the formation of scars inside, like internal scar formation, then you got nothing else. And so TB-500 may be helpful at improving those pieces of the repair process. So we don't have any human trials on the fragment, which is TB-500, when it comes to tendons or ligament repair, surgical recovery, muscle injury, and the like. But that is the topic that this molecule comes up in all the time. And so the data really is coming from cell studies, animal models, and then just understanding the mechanisms of how it works, and then extrapolating that to specific use cases that there might be potential benefit. So the interest is there, and hopefully as these products are opened up a little bit in the marketplace due to this FDA approval, that we may see some more human trials going forward. So TB-500 and dosing. So our practice is typically to use TB-500 in conjunction with BPC-157 when we are trying to promote healing after a musculoskeletal injury or after a surgery, because they are synergistic, they work together. But we do use TB-500 alone when we have chronic inflammatory states that are impairing proper tissue recovery. So this is chronic inflammatory arthritis, a post-viral infection that has reached a chronic phase. That's like EBV, Lyme, COVID, or long COVID. There's autoimmune conditions that you're having very frequent flares, and so having some sort of repair boost or benefit may be helpful, and so we will use TB-500 in those settings. Well, it is not the treatment for those things, obviously. It's just trying to help the downstream damage that's coming from them, and that's what we're trying to influence with TB-500. It's typically dosed twice a week, and then you can use it daily. You just have to change the dosing of it when you combine it with BPC. So we have a combo product that we use where it's BPC and Thymosin Beta together, because that makes sense since we're using it together all the time, reduces the number of injections. And so you can do it that way, but twice a week if you're using just TB-500 is perfectly fine. It's just the dose has to be changed. This is our practice, and I'll get to this in the safety part of this section, is that we will use it in cycles. So 4 to 6 week cycles, and we'll adjust the dose based on the severity and the concern that we have. And then you want it to come off of it. These repair signals are not supposed to be going on all the time. The body is supposed to have a state of resolution. And so you also want to have the peptide come off because you want to kind of get the body over into that state of resolution, right? The problem with the chronic inflammatory state is that there is no resolution. And so the idea with the peptide is to boost the signal, try to get the body moving forward, and then it comes off, and then maybe you do it again, cyclically kind of throughout the year. There technically is an oral form of TB-500. It's sometimes referred to as TB-FRAG. We don't really ever use it. It's unclear that this molecule even survives the GI tract. This is different than BPC, which we know survives the GI tract. So it's unclear about TB-FRAG and the GI tract. So we just don't use it because there's not a lot of evidence that says that it actually gets into the body when you take it orally. So we just use the systemic injection route. And then lastly, I didn't mention this in the BPC episode, but I should have, but BPC, Thymosin Beta, are banned under the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA. And so if you are an athlete that has to be monitored by WADA, then these are peptides you don't want to be using when your career is on the line, obviously. So TB-500 and safety, and just like with the others, we don't have robust trials that document long-term safety. All pharmaceutical drug trials have at least a 5-year study, and then they usually will go on for a number of years afterwards to understand safety. Just don't have that with peptides. And so in our clinical practice, we don't see adverse reactions with short-term use outside of injection site reactions. But other than that, we don't really see anything there. But since we don't really know long-term, our philosophy is to cycle off of peptides, any peptide, after a certain number of weeks, 4 or 6 weeks for TB-500. Sometimes other peptides are longer. And the idea really is just to give your body a break from the signal. We don't want the body to get used to the signal and just stop responding to this higher signal. We see that when it comes to other hormones. So you don't want that to happen with TB-500, which is not a hormone, but a signaling peptide. And then we don't know what happens if you're just constantly pushing the repair signal all the time in terms of long-term safety. So we want to take off. We want the body to be the main actor in this whole process, of course, and using the peptide as a way to just nudge and push in a certain direction, and then just letting the body go from there. And then we only use it purposefully. So I don't really believe in the use of peptides just randomly. We want to use it post-op or after an injury, or you have a known chronic inflammatory state, and have a plan for how long you're going to do it and how long you're going to be off, but not using it as this ongoing signal for repair that you may or may not need. So lastly, and I've written about this and talked about this, there's a whole video dedicated to this, is that we only recommend that you use TB-500 along with a clinician who has expertise in peptide therapy and that can source it from a properly sourced compounding pharmacy, and you can see the trail of purchase. The problem in the gray market, direct-to-consumer peptide world, is that you don't know that. You're buying a product, you don't have any understanding of the paper trail or how well it was, the quality controls of getting it from the manufacturer all the way to you, and then you don't have any oversight and guidance on dosing, on protocols, on when to use, when to stop. If something does happen, because again, these aren't researched in a very strict way like other medications. So if something does happen, you need a doctor to assess you and to take care of you. So again, you should work with someone who knows about peptides and knows how to care for people with this molecule. So as with any peptide, these are tools in a toolbox, and they are nothing more than that. They are not miracles. They are not this thing that's going to just fix all your problems. They are used as a part of a comprehensive plan of getting you towards a better state of health. And so when you have an injury or a surgery to repair, you need to take care of your sleep, your nutrition. You need to protect the wound or the joint in practical ways. You need to maintain range of motion with physical therapy and rebuilding lost muscle with physical therapy. You need to avoid other illnesses in the process. and obviously managing other chronic conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure and the like. And the TB-500 is just a support actor in that entire process. So it is a tool. It is not the tool, and you really need to make sure that other things are checked out and then you're doing other things to support your health for this peptide to work well. It is common. We see it all the time. People using peptides and they haven't done these other things and like, oh, it doesn't work. And then we have other people that are very attuned to their health. They're taking very careful steps in their recovery. They use this and they can tell that there's an enhancement. And so I think that's a big problem, is that you can't just use it as the only tool. You got to use it in combination with everything else. So we love TB-500. It's a very popular one here in the office. We love it combined with BPC 157. We recognize, and I want you to recognize and understand, that data is limited. But data is also limited in conventional medicine when it comes to these conditions that require some sort of regenerative intervention. With arthritis, common one. Right now, all we got is replacement surgery, ibuprofen, Tylenol, rest, physiotherapy. Some of these things are necessary. You're going to need a knee replacement potentially if you have a really bad knee. But regenerating tissue or regenerating and improving the healing process is intriguing. And it's an area of medicine that is lacking. And my hope is that over the years, we start to develop interventions specifically in that area. And TB-500 is a newer market option here, where that plus BPC may be helpful in those categories. And so it is worth a seat at the table when we're trying to discuss peptides and what are helpful, what are not helpful, and where can it fill gaps that we just don't have good answers for. And repair and recovery is a big one. So that's all I got on TB-500. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. I think I already mentioned we're going to do KPV next, and so that'll be, I think, next week. All right, take care. Bye-bye.